The Constitutional Council of Cameroon, the only institution authorized by law to announce the result of the October 12th presidential election, will present the results of the election on Thursday, October 23rd, in a formal hearing scheduled to begin at 10:30 a.m. at the Yaoundé Convention Center. The expected result will symbolize the strong mobilization of Cameroonians during the vote on October 12, 2025, following an election that presented a dual aspect, the territorial acreage of President Paul Biya, but also a very strong opposition dynamic, which already foreshadows the stakes of the upcoming electoral contest, particularly the legislative elections.
Alors au Cameroun, le traitement des résultats est manuel.
In Cameroon, the results are processed manually, which is why it takes a certain amount of time for all the results from the minutes collected at the polling stations to reach the departmental supervisory commissions. For the departmental supervisory commissions to have time to process them manually, and then for these minutes to be centralized at the National Commission for the General Food Counting, which also takes the time to process the data before transmitting them to the Constitutional Council for review, processing the publication of the results.
De traiter les données avant de les transmettre au Conseil constitutionnel pour examen, traitement et publication des résultats.
Elecam, whose work was welcomed by all parties with satisfaction in the conduct of the vote, had an obligation to demonstrate robustness in the transmission of results and compliance with the electoral process. After the closing of the polling stations, from the counting of votes in each polling stations and the transmission of the minute to the local voting commission, then to the departmental supervision commission, all the way to the National Commission for the General Food Counting, each support also raised its share of dispute, while all candidates are represented in all these committees to ensure transparency. The transfer of the work to the Constitutional Council, which had a 15-day deadline before the publication of the final result, is facing a stance from the opposition, which dispute the potential result with a suspicion of a victory for President Paul Biya. These deadlines must be respected because in a manual process, they are what allow for secure results. While the wait for the result has generated a share of tension and acts of civil disobedience, all political actors, without exception, advocate respect for citizens, civil peace, and above all, the rejection of violence between citizens. These numerous calls for a peaceful and responsible Cameroon will be a real challenge for the president-elect at the end of this process to listen to the message of the people in their desire for a genuine and sincere transformation of the daily lives of Cameroonians, a country that seeks to be an example in all circumstances for Africa.